So you're ready to get rid of your house, right? You're tired of making these payments, or you just got something that's going on in your life to where you just got to get rid of this house, right? Yo, y'all, my name is Joseph Barr. I am Mr. Make Moves. Welcome to the Make Moves with Us network, where we're just showing you different real estate ways that you can just learn and be familiar with so you're not confused and you can know what different method you want to use whenever you're ready to do anything in real estate. Yo, so today I want to talk about if you're ready to sell your house, right? And just the different ways and just being very transparent with all those that's ready to sell your home. And if you need assistance with this, definitely hit me up and my team to where we can help you navigate this process so you're not alone. You're not being taken advantage of. Okay. So, first thing is the MLS. We call this the multiple listing service. This is like Amazon, right? You put it on there, for sure somebody's going to see it. I'm sure somebody's going to want to buy it. Well, if it makes sense, if the price point makes sense. So the MLS will get you the best price possible depending on what the retail market is saying. What do we mean by the market? So if somebody advertised some eggs for $100, would that make sense for you to buy the eggs at $100? If somebody else is selling eggs for $7, which one are you gonna buy? You're probably gonna buy the ones with the $7 versus the $100. So it depends on what the market is saying your house value is really worth. Is how fast your house will sell on the MLS. Remember, the MLS is broadcasting it to everybody, even Zillow, Redfin. It all pushes out to those platforms. So anybody that's looking, they will find your home and they say, hey, we want to pay top rate with this. And by having so much exposure to your house, you're able to get at a good rate because is allowing supply and demand to happen. Okay. Now, sometimes if your house is overly priced, like that $100 eggs versus those $7 eggs, your house would sit on the market a little longer than it needs to. So you have to be reasonable about what price point you are setting when you put it onto the MLS. So most realtors would do something called a CMA, a competitive market analysis, and saying, hey, at this current time or in the last 6 months to 90 days, this is what the homes are selling for in the area. So you might say, I want to sell these eggs for $100, and but I don't want to sell it too low of like selling my eggs for $7. So the realtor might say, let's just sell them for 20 because last week we saw somebody else sell their eggs for like $22, and then somebody else sold their eggs for like $17. And so they try to get you in that range right there, so where you have a good chance of selling your eggs, of where people are selling that. So that is part of getting the best rate when you hire a real estate agent to list your home. If you need a real estate agent to list your home and give you more feedback in a personalized way, definitely come hit me up, me and my team up. We'll be glad to show you and sit down with you in front of at your kitchen table or at a local coffee shop, and we'll run through the numbers with you. And speaking of numbers, I want to make sure we go through this. So usually you're going to pay the agent commission. And yes, you pay for the seller agent, the person that's helping you list your property, and the buyer agent that usually comes along and brings a buyer to help negotiate with you, right? So depending on your selling agent, this is where you get the most money out your this is where you get your most worth out of your money. You want to have a competitive, negotiative selling agent. If you need that, I am here to help you. And you need somebody that's experienced, that knows lingo, that's not afraid to push back to give you the best rate possible. You hire somebody to advocate for you on your position. Okay. Now, you do pay the agent commission. You pay the agent commission on their side, on the buyer bringing them here, and you pay it on the seller person. Usually, the selling agent will negotiate that rate with you that you're comfortable with, and then they will negotiate the other percentage with the actual buyer agent, so that way they can get compensated. There's no set rules. There's no set fee. It's all negotiable. But just know that you have to pay an agent commission. The next thing you have to pay off is your mortgage payoff with your current lender, because that lender is going to get paid and it's going to transfer to a new buyer lender in that process. So you want to make sure you know how much of the mortgage you have to pay. It's best that you run some kind of title search so that way you know if there's any liens on your home or anything like that of additional things that need to be paid, right? So you want to be sure you keep in mind the agent commission and the mortgage payoff. Sometimes And depending on what market we're in, supply and demand, if it's really a buyer's market, they will be very adamant on having closing costs in there. That means a buyer's market means there's more homes on the market that they can choose from. So, what makes your home a little bit special? So, you'll give them a special incentive saying, hey, I'll give you part of my equity to help you close on this home. You can't pay for their down payment, but those closing costs, like those appraisal fees, those title fees, those lender fees, all of that, you can help contribute a little to their help to help you get that sale of your home at the best price that you want to see at. Okay. So you want to take in account all of this together, what the market is really paying for your house, what the agent commission is going to be, and it's usually one fee that you have to even worry about. The agent will negotiate that with the other agent on how they want to split that fee, and your mortgage payoff. Okay. The closing cost is optional depending on what kind of market you're in. If you want to know what kind of market we're in, definitely hit me up 469-907-9073, and I will help you understand what kind of market we're in and what area of the market we're in your particular area. Okay. What you walk away from. If you walk away for a total profit of 250 and above, then you get taxed on the 250 and above, right? If you're single. If you're married, it's 500,000. Okay? So as long as you're below that amount for either scenarios, you don't get taxed on that. Okay? So it's a great thing about that. The next thing that a lot of people, you're like, man, I just got to sell this house. I really got to sell this house. I got a lot going on. I just need to get out this house. You can go with a wholesaler. A wholesaler was somebody that will flyer something to your door, or there's some kind of ad that just heard you say this word and they're sending you videos. So a wholesaler, it will say, hey, I will pay cash on your house and I will close quickly. And closing quickly mean anywhere from 5 to 21 days. They can close really quickly, right? Now, the thing about them is they're going to give you 70% of wherever your home is worth today. So let's just say your home is worth 300,000. 70% of that would be 21. I can't do math right now. Wait. 27, 21. So they're going to pay you 70% of your house value. So hold on. Yeah, they'll pay you 70% of your house value. So you won't get your full value that you would get on the MLS, right? So, but they will sell it to you. They'll get it to you fast. Now, when should you use a wholesaler? You should use a wholesaler if you have been living in this house for a long time, or somebody has been living in this house a long time, or if the house was a gift to you or something like that, or as a probate, like somebody passed away, they passed it down to you. You don't want to have nothing to do with it. Those are good times to sell it to the wholesaler. Now, if you are just saying, I can stay in this house and I can give it time for the market to really find somebody to bring it to me, then wholesaler is probably not your best option, because even though you're selling the house as is, you don't have to do nothing else. You still got to pay off whatever mortgage you have on the house. And usually you can't sell the house for a lower amount than what you actually owe on the mortgage. And if you're like adamant and you really need to get out, you can end up with almost nothing walk away. You can almost walk away with nothing when you sell it this way if you don't have any equity built into the house. Okay. And then you get still, if you do sell it for above those tax rates at the time of making this video, then you will get taxed a little bit more. So that's the wholesaler. So the MLS is the best way to get your house value, the best price at market value, but there's additional cost that comes with that. The wholesaler will be the quickest way and you'll get off of it, but you won't receive much money. It will basically be a wash at the end of the day. Now, there's a way, like I said, I want to be totally transparent. There's a way called creative financing that you're a way to be a win-win for everybody. All right. So it just depends on the situation. Most of the time with creative financing, there's a way that you can actually you can get the price point, whatever price point you want. So say your house is worth, say the market is saying your house is worth 300, but you want 350. With creative financing, you can get that 350 price point. It just comes with certain terms or certain timelines, right? So you'll probably get it back at a later payoff date. Somebody can come in and say, hey, we will like to pay you at that 350 price point. We actually just want to get your house subject to, and I'll share with you what subject to in just a second, but we'll pay you in 3 years, right? And so when we refinance the house, we'll pay it to you. And you're probably like, okay, cool. I mean, I just need to get rid of it. Y'all gonna take care of the mortgage. I don't need the money right now. Y'all can go take care of what you want. But yeah, pay me in 3 years that entire amount. And each month, if you negotiate, it just all depends on how you negotiate it. And just say, hey, I just want to situate it this way. All right. The next thing is, if you are in a bad situation like this wholesaler and you're like, man, I just really got to get rid of this house because I'm about to lose the house. It's going to foreclose on my credit. Once I have a foreclosure on my credit, I have people calling me all the time. I won't be able to apply for nothing else. My credit would be ruined. I would get charged higher fees to just get basic stuff. Insurance would be higher. Utilities would put a bigger deposit down. It would just be a lot going on. Creative financing can help you save and make the money for you to not have to be flat when you leave out if you don't have that much equity. All right. And so the next thing is, another way you can do creative financing is you can move out and then you can rent out the place yourself, right? You can do a long-term rental where you get somebody to sign a 12-month lease for your home or more, and they'll just stay in there. And every month they basically paying a mortgage. You add a little cash flow, you become a landlord, you take care of the property. Or you can do a short-term rental where if it's allowed in your community or where you're located at, you can actually put it on Airbnb, VRBO, and say, hey, I want to rent this out by the day. And people can come in, you take care of it. I would suggest you hire a property manager. You just got to get some furniture in there and stack it up and then just get some cash flow, but you're out of it. You're moved on. Or you can do something called midterm rental where people are paying by the week. And what they're doing is they're paying by the week. They're staying in there. You use basic furniture. These are your gig workers, your insurance agents, your nurses, traveling nurses. The insurance, if somebody's house is messed up, they need a place to stay, they can stay in your place. So then you can just add on different currencies right there. If you just need to get out the house or have somebody to help you take care of paying these homes. So that is creative financing. The last thing I want to talk about is subject to. So subject to is a way for you to get most of your money out right now, or it mostly gets you out of the deal. You wash your hands with it, and then you get paid later off of it. So subject to is whenever you purchase a home yourself, you get two pieces of paper. You get something called a deed and you get something called a mortgage. The deed is the ownership of the property. The mortgage is the promissory note that you are supposed to pay back, right? They usually tie the mortgage to the deed, right? So your mortgage have your interest rate, your monthly payments, and the total amount to pay off. That's the mortgage. The deed is an ownership of who owns the property and recorded with the county office. All right, so the bank cares about the mortgage, the county records care about the deed. You see how that works? So whenever you do a subject to, you're saying, hey, Susie, John, sign the deed over to me or whoever is asking for the creative financing, but keep the mortgage in your name. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments and say, Joe, how's that even possible? This and that. We will explain that in another video. But just for this video's sake of time, just know that you can sign over the deed to somebody else's house and you'll be responsible for the mortgage payments of their mortgage payments, right? There's certain paperwork you need. There's certain things you need to take care of because there is risk of the mortgage company requesting a due of sale clause to say the whole mortgage is due right now because you transferred the deed without telling us and then letting that person requalify for this house. So just be aware of that. But there's a way that you can do called subject to help you get out of there and get a payoff in a later date. If y'all want to know more, y'all definitely stay tuned or just hit me up. There's a link down below. We can schedule a virtual coffee. I can meet you up in person if you're located, if you're close to the proximity of where I'm at the time of making this, of you wanting to meet up, because I travel a lot. And let's help each other make moves. Okay, y'all. So, like I said, here to answer questions, here to help you be confident in real estate transactions. That way, you can make the best and smartest uh, decision to make moves. I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Peace out.